Hey, we got a package. We got a package. We got to get the inspectors making sure quality assurance is good. Let's see what we got. Yeah, should be a fun one. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. I hope everybody's doing well. And today we're going to be building a jet engine. Let's go. Let me get some details out of the way before we start. This was sent out by a company called Engine DIY. They build a variety of engine models, one of which are jet engines. Now, these aren't just your ordinary models. These are very complex and you have to put them together piece by piece. One thing I'm not going to sugarcoat for you guys, these things are very expensive. Matter of fact, the one they sent out to me is made out of all metal. Oh, on a side note, this is not a promotional thing. I'm not being sponsored or anything like that. This company was just kind enough to send this out to me because they know I love aviation, and this is something really cool they built. And I just want to show it to you guys. We'll leave all the links down below. If you can afford it, go for it. They do have other affordable models that are 3D printed, but if you're looking for something like this, a challenge, a model that spins and takes a lot of effort to put together, we're talking about over 600 pieces here. It's definitely something fun to add to your aviation collection. Once again, I'll put all the links and details down in the description. Without further ado, let's get to building. And just like any aircraft mechanic, the first thing we do is we pull out the maintenance manual. We want to get this thing done right the first time. Interestingly enough, this unit is actually modeled after a real engine, the F-35 engine. To be specific, the Pratt & Whitney F-135 power plant. In my opinion, from the pictures I've seen on the internet, they got it pretty spot on. I'm sure some of my viewers are military, and I'm sure some of my viewers do actually work on the real thing. You guys let me know if this is pretty accurate or not. The unit comes very well packaged, and like I said, this is a very complex model with over 600 pieces. Everything is very well labeled, and the manual itself was very accurate. Everything you need comes included inside the kit. All the hardware and all the tooling as well, which I unfortunately misused, and yeah, you're gonna have a laugh about it later on. And of course, we can't build without our quality assurance. My inspector says the box is good. The build goes in sections, jump around from the intake to the exhaust to the combustion chamber, and then at the end it's all going to come together. We begin by assembling the fan case. Afterwards, we're going to move on to the low pressure compressor. One thing I will reiterate on this one, make sure you have the correct orientation and follow the manual. Read before you put it together. Also, don't be like me and do this on the floor. If you have a workbench, I highly recommend it. Me hunched over, doing this for almost a day and a half. Yeah, you can imagine, my back and legs were paying for it. The hardware is also very small. So definitely some steady hands and a lot of patience. As we move forward, now we start assembling the secondary lower pressure rotor. And remember earlier when I said I misused the tools? Be careful how much torque you put on these fasteners. You're not gonna believe this. I already broke the tool. Oh, such a nice tool too. That's my own fault. It's my own fault. Haven't even got the engine halfway done. I already got fought in there. It's stuck inside this thing. Can't believe I just did that. I'm trying to... All right. I managed to get the broken piece of tooling out and resorted to my own tooling. I had a little Husky kit and as well as my Leatherman. So we keep on going. This part is assembling of the lower and upper portion of the casing, as well as the stator blades. Now the stator blades, they don't spin, they're attached to the case. This is what optimizes airflow and creates better compression within the engine. Matter of fact, most modern engines have something called a VSV, variable stator vanes. They can actually modulate. They're still attached to the case, but they modulate. And once again, they are there to optimize airflow and to prevent any kind of compressor stall. Control factor comes from the EEC, the electronic engine control units. The next stage of the build, what the manual calls it, is the intermediate receiver assembly. In the real world, we call that the IGB, the inlet gearbox. This is what actually turns the engine from the gearbox. It goes from the accessory gearbox to the transfer gearbox into the inlet gearbox via a shaft going into the core. Hey dude, are you gonna help or what? No, not really. There's my supervisor. As you can see, the fur babies have no interest besides the box. Also, the screwdriver became one of their toys apparently. But besides that, this is actually a great project to do with somebody else. Do it with a friend, do it with your family, kids. It's a fun adventure. And on top of that, you get to research, you get to learn how engines work. It's definitely a great way to introduce young adults into working with their hands. After putting together the gear and the shaft for the core of the engine, now I actually put together the gearbox itself. Once again, it's quite incredible how much detail they put into this engine. Once I got the gearbox together, the manual actually tells you to do an operational check to make sure the gears are turning. Ops check good. On to the next step. Let's go. Next step is assembling the high pressure compressor assembly. At this point, I think I've talked how engines work to death. Low pressure turbine turns the fan and the low pressure compressor. High pressure turbine turns the high pressure compressor, both on individual shafts. And most engines are dual spool. Add some Jet A, add some spark, and you got yourself some magic. You know what? Forget all that. Just remember, suck, squeeze, bang, blow. That's how it works. And all of it's lubricated by mechanic tears. There you go. Same concept with this case, installing the stator blades and then having the core sit inside with the compressor section. One interesting thing on a majority of compressor section blades, those blades on the discs in the compressor are individual blades. You can remove and replace them. The disc itself is actually called a blisk. It's a variation of saying a bladed disc, but there are also discs with permanent blades attached to them. Up next, we got the combustion chamber. This is where you will have your fuel nozzles installed, as well as usually 2 igniter plugs. Most people confuse igniter plugs with spark plugs. They're almost the same. Think diesel truck. You only need initial ignition. After that, it's a continuous burn. But in case of emergencies, pilots do have the option to select continuous ignition from both igniters. Now we're moving on to the turbine section. To be specific, the low pressure turbine. Well, so far so good. As you can see, the components are assembled. And then I reached this point of the build, which, this is where the real challenge starts. So if you've ever seen the exhaust of the F-35 or the engine, the F-135, it has exhaust nozzles that expand and contract. Yeah, this one also has it, but the designer, whoever modeled this engine, decided to make sure that you have to put every single piece together, piece by piece. Okay, I'm gonna do one of them so you guys can see how actually complicated this thing is. So I already built 3 of them. I got there's 12 of them to be built, and you gotta pay attention to orientation of this thing. So yeah, so you get this thing. The skinny side goes to, let's see how I did this. The skinny side goes to that edge right there, like that. Guys, this is so complicated. Well, not complicated, it's just monotonous. That's not even the correct word for it. It's tedious. That's the correct word for it. Grab one of these, and this fits into this little slot right here. They kind of overlap each other. Then you grab one of the designated screws that it tells you to grab. And let's see, make sure I have the right orientation. Yeah, this is it. And you basically insert from this side, and you got to kind of finagle it, and almost have it. Come on. See what I mean? This is why I time-lapse this whole thing for you guys. Because if I did this in real time, who the heck would want to watch this for 4 to 5 hours? Well, I'm going on, let's see now. I started at, I'm going on hour 4 now. Yeah. Hold on. I'll get it through. Go into the hole. Come on, go into the hole. There you go. Sorry. Let's see. Here's the screw or the bolt, and we just tighten this up. Not too hard, guys. I think I've broken like already like three tools because I'm constantly over torquing the screws here. There you go. That's it. Easy now. So once that's done, then you go here, grab one of these tiny itty bitty pins right here, and then where is it? Here. We get this little thingy, and then you take the pin, insert right here, and the tool kit did not come with some kind of crimps, so I'm using my Leatherman here. Shout out to Leatherman. The Wave is the best one. I've been using it for like 2 decades at this point. But anyway, yeah, that's the vector nozzles, or what do they call them? A tailpipe assembly. That's what they call them. Anyway, this is the 4th one. I need to build 12 of them all in total. So yeah, I'm not gonna waste your time. I'm gonna build this and we'll continue with the time lapse. All right, movie magic. Let's go. As you can see, not easy at all, but I'm trying to get it done. I really had ambitions to get this done today. Well, it's getting dark, but it was still working. You ever had that little tickle in the back of your head and saying, you know, you started something, you better finish it? Yeah, that's me. I'm stubborn as heck. I'm going to finish this tonight, even if it kills me. Nope, not at all. I'm not going to finish it tonight. That's for sure. My back was giving out and my knees were pretty much numb. Once again, my fault. When you do this, have a workbench, have a nice lit area to work in. Don't do what I did. I tried to get through as much as possible, but eventually it was just exhaustion took over and I needed to get some rest. So I decided, you know what, save the rest for tomorrow. So yeah. Which reminds me, fatigue. Fatigue is one of the most important things in aviation. Matter of fact, it's part of the dirty dozen. It's one of the contributing factors of making mistakes. It's exactly what was happening. And that's how it really works in real life. The more you're fatigued, the more prone to mistakes. Safety factors are very important, especially when human factors are involved in aviation. And that's literally what was on my mind when I was doing this. And that's a toy. Remember, I work on real jets. Just because I'm in the leisure of my own home does not mean I should make those mistakes here as well. I took my own advice, got some rest, got up early in the morning, and continued on with the build. Highly motivated and highly caffeinated, I began to assemble the exhaust nozzle. Progress report. Nozzle's done. Pretty cool, huh? So far, so good. Yeah, it moves open and closed too. Look at that. How cool is that? Yep. Okay. Another piece done. On to, what is this? Enhanced nozzle assembly. The combustion chamber? No. Yeah, I think it is. Looks like the combustion chamber. Anyway, keep on trucking. Obviously, this is not the combustion chamber. This is actually a very special portion of the engine, where a special feature that this power plant has. This is where the atomizer sits. Yeah, that's right. This engine actually does have an atomizer, and it produces a very cool effect of smoke coming out the tailpipe. You'll see that towards the end of the video. We finally get to that stage where the assemblies that I put together now come together. It's starting to look like an engine now. Attaching the fan section, attaching the compressor section, as well as the turbine sections and the combustion sections. It's going to start stack up. Oh, by the way, an interesting factor about when they build engines. You know that they actually build them vertically at some point? Yeah, they stack them. The discs, all those blisks I was talking about, they stack them from top to bottom like a Christmas tree. Then at one point, they will rotate the engine horizontally and then proceed on working. This is where the real most tedious part came in, installing the casings together. There's fasteners all around, and some of them do not have proper clearance. So you're really trying to get your fingers in between, using tweezers back and forth. Yeah, it became very hard to do. My fingers were hurting at this point. Okay, engine update. We got most of it put together. Still got more to go. Looking good so far. Yes, if you're wondering, does it spin? Yes, it does spin. And attach the motor, the gearbox, everything. But yeah, right now we're attaching the last sections of it. Almost there, almost there. This thing is a killer. This section right here, the one I just installed, that's the atomizer. Later on, I'll put some water into it at the end of the build, and you're gonna see that cool effect I was talking about earlier. I'm just realizing how long this video has become, and this is a time lapse, a 20-minute time lapse. Crazy, right? Anyway, we're slowly coming to the end right here. Now I'm assembling the casing around the compressor section. Oh my God, is this ever gonna end? I hope so, but here, we finally put the exhaust cone on now. I will never do this again. I will never, ever do this again. Oh, this is insanity. This is pure insanity. All right, let's put this together. Back to time lapse. Oh my God. My old man used to say, if it's hard, then it's worth doing. If it was easy, everybody would do it. My father was an interesting man, full of very strict principles and morals. But then again, he said, don't ever chase buses or women. They'll both leave you behind. Love you, Dad. Miss you. Yeah, I'm sorry about that one, guys. But yeah, now you know where I get my dad jokes. Anyway, I need to be quiet. This is a PG-13 channel. Kids are watching. Anyway, now we're coming to the end of the build, and I'm basically putting on all the accessories, just little plastic pieces to simulate some of the components or the accessories on the outside of the case, some of the bleed ducts, and now we're gonna get to actually test it out. Let's see if I built it right, and let's see if it spins. If I got this right. Holy cow, I am so done. I am so done. And I still gotta go do food prep because I got a 16-hour shift tomorrow, and I gotta do laundry. Nuts! Absolutely nuts! All right, moment of truth. All right, here we go. Hey, it spins! Oh my God. Oh, I completely forgot. It's got a super special feature. It's got an atomizer. That's what I was installing. So watch this. I took the panels off here just so you can see the blades. I like to see the blades. Watch. That's awesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. The final product. It is a beautiful, beautiful model, and it's a beautiful engine. I am very fortunate that they sent this to me, and I'm so happy that I could share this with you. This was definitely a challenging build. Mind you, I have torn engines apart and put them back together, but this one gave me a run for its money, for sure. It was challenging, difficult. I pulled some of my hair out, but it's okay. I still enjoyed it, and I hope you guys enjoyed the build. Thank you all very much for watching, and I appreciate you all. I'll see you guys on the next adventure. Later.